And there it is, the final day at Guthrie Castle in Scotland. And it's been quite a week here. Of course, always have your flashcards out in front. And just been thinking a lot about my life, a lot about the future and what I plan on doing with all of this incredible knowledge I've received this week here with the $50 billion man and his QLA hardcore program. And it made me think about what I could leave for you. What's the message I could leave for you today? Based on everything I've learned in the last 8 years at London Real and my relationship with Dan and my 7 days here. And I thought a lot about this last night. And I think it all boils down to one thing. And it's something you've heard before, something you've heard this old man scream before, something you've heard me say, and something that's probably resonated in your head and rattled around in your head a few times. And that is this one phrase, which is this: pull the trigger. Pull that trigger. Or as Dan would like to say, just pull the fucking trigger. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you really think about our entire existence, the 13.8 billion years on this planet and whatever else is happening to us in the future, your short existence, your 50, 80, 120 years on this planet is, as Dan Pena would say, nothing more than a fart in the wind. It just doesn't matter. All of those things that you think are so important and so crucial, and what will they think, and what will they say, and what happens when I look stupid, and what happens when I fail, it won't matter when you are 6 feet under in some gravestone that someone's forgot about 1,000 years from now, 10,000 years from now. This guy built this thing in 1432. I don't know his name. I don't know if he screwed up in his life. I don't know if he did some things that he regretted, but he obviously pulled the trigger on something, and that's why I know who he is, because he made Guthrie Castle. What are you going to do? Are you going to allow your life to be paralyzed by fear? Are you going to allow what other people think to stop you from potentially being the best you? About 4 days ago, down in the pavilion, I put myself in a boxing ring. Now, I'd never had a boxing match before. And hitting a bag, trust me, does not prepare you for a boxing match. I knew it was going to be filmed on YouTube. I knew it would be in front of Pena and these 25 high-performance people. And there was a chance I would get knocked out, like seriously out cold laying on the ground. And that could be my meme for the rest of my life. But in the cosmos of time, that didn't matter. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to go and box. Why? Maybe just to have that experience and see what happens and what can I learn from it. I pulled the trigger. And it wasn't the most beautiful match by any means, but I'm so glad I did. I had a great time. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned out how I need to improve. And I did it, man. A lot of people didn't do it. A lot of people wouldn't do that. And that's something I've learned over the last few years is that I want to embrace risk, because I know that's the only way forward. That's the only way we're going to get what we want to get in life. You've got to pull the trigger. You've got to get out of that comfort zone. You've just got to say, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. As opposed to where most of us live, are in these kind of quiet lives. We let these fears or these phantoms in our lives that make us play and lead these quiet lives of desperation. And one thing I'll have to say from Mr. Pena is he doesn't leave a quiet life of desperation. He's always going for it big time. And people see Dan's wins, but he has so many failures, it's not even funny. And that's what's great about coming to the Castle Seminar is he will tell you in detail all the times he screwed up, the hundreds of millions of dollars he lost, when he was thrown out of his public company and he had no money for 18 months while he sat at this castle with no cash. I mean, he screwed up over and over and over again. But when he comes to the end of his life, he'll be sitting on his deathbed thinking, yeah, I fucking did that. And that's what I guess I want for you. I want it for all of us, because I think that's when this whole human species becomes our best, when we can just pull the trigger, take risks, go for things, do things, stop waiting for something to happen, stop sitting on the sidelines, stop stressing, stop worrying about all the things that are going to happen. My parents are going to think I'm going to look stupid on Facebook. Oh, my business is going to fail. So what? Build another one. And then build another one. That's the story of Dan. And so that's the last thing I'd like to leave with you today is whatever you're thinking about doing right now, just do it. Why not? Whatever is even beyond that comprehension of something you could do, just do it. I've seen people here have switches in their brain switched, including me, where there was something right in front of me that I could take full advantage of, and yet my old small thinking mind hadn't conceived that I could do it. That's what the other guys do. That's what the big fish do. The big dogs do. No, you are a big dog. You, right there, are a big dog. And you are able right now to do things that you don't even comprehend that you could do. And so one of the great things of coming up here and putting on these crazy gangster suits and hanging out in front of the Ferraris and living in the castle and having butlers sit on you and learning from the best business coach in the world is that it makes you start to believe that you can conquer almost anything. And as Dan once said to me in the studio, when you believe your abilities are limitless, everything is possible. And so I want you to not only consider that, pull the trigger on something. Really start something with your life. And the more scary, the better. The more uncomfortable, the better. Because it's going to make you have fun again. Remember that thing, fun? Yeah, it used to happen when you were a kid, when you did that dumb, crazy shit, right? Jump the bike between the two curbs. Remember that? Fun? Fun happens when you're outside your comfort zone. You're taking risk. It can happen in business. It can happen in life. It can happen in relationships. And that's my last party moment. So I hope that means something to you. It's easier said than done. And that's the thing about this stuff. Going into your fears is simple, but it's not easy. It's a biatch to try to get this stuff done. But when you do it, crazy things happen. So there you go. I'm off to the final day here at Peña's Castle. It's been an incredible experience. I love this place. It feels like home. I love just walking around this place, but I love even more being able to push myself and being able to evaluate my life and realize that I am not pulling the trigger. I am still living in fears. I still have these blockades that say, no, Brian, you can't do that now. It's too risky to do that now. I'll work on this little thing that you know you're good at, that everyone will say you're good at, and you can go home at night and someone will pat you on the head and say, nice job, boy. But that's not what I want. I want to go home, look in the mirror and say, you are a bad motherfucker, Brian. I can't believe you did that. And I don't care if anybody else saw it. I just want to be proud of myself. That's it. I want to know when I got to the end of this life, I left it all on the table. You know, I gave it my all. I tried everything. I took those risks. I bled and I sweated and I tried. And that's the way I want to leave this life. And that's why I want you to leave this life too. So get out there, find something that gets your bloods boiling, that makes you passionate, find something that scares you, and then go do it. Pull that trigger. Peace from Gus Castle.